In this first example, we're going to draw a small-ish redwood building. So I put my name and my postcode at the top there. So step 1. Draw the outline of the building from the bird's eye view and show all dimensions. So I'm just going to use this grid line as a guide. It's not to scale. It's just to help you draw the shape. So it says there's a key, show all dimensions. This is very important. So I want this building to be 3.5 meters long by 3 meters deep. Step 2. Show where you want windows and doors to be placed, what style of door and what type of window. Now we can use the first page on this document as reference. This shows a simplified version of the range of windows and doors that we do. This isn't the full range by any means, but all the shapes, sizes and the dimensions are represented here. So on this particular building, I'm going to use a sliding door, the 2.4 meter set. I'm going to use a full length window, and I'm also going to use the letterbox window. So I want my doors to be offset to the right, and it's a 2-pane sliding door. So I'm going to draw it with 2 panes. I want my window here, my long picture window, and I want the letterbox window to be at the back. Now, when you're drawing these things, if you refer to the codes that are written in yellow, then we will know which door you're talking about. So I'm going to write P2, W1 and W3. And I'm also going to put on here that I want W1 to be a fixed window and W3 to be an opening window. Step 3. Draw any extra features. A roof overhang or any internal walls and doors, for example. I don't want any internal doors or walls or anything like that, but I do want a small roof overhang. So I'm going to represent that just with a simple dotted line. The roof overhang we do is usually 300mm. But we do also do a 600mm roof overhang as well. So the next step would be for me to choose my cladding type on the right hand side here. So I'm going to choose redwood for this, and then just underneath that, what colour do I want the windows and doors to be, and I want them to be anthracite grey. That's the most popular finish on the windows and doors. Next thing I'm going to do is scan or take a photograph of this, and I'm going to send it to my representative, highlighted just there. From this sketch we will produce a set of drawings that look like this. So you can see here we've got the doors, the picture window, the letterbox window and the roof overhang represented here. For this second example, we're going to draw a slightly bigger building. We're going to want the building to be 5 meters long and 3.2 meters deep. And we're going to add a few more features on this one. So again, just using the grid lines as a guide. .5 meters 3.2 meters. So we've done step 1 there, drawn the outline of the building and established the sizes. Step 2, we need to identify what windows and doors we want. Now I actually want 2 sets of doors on this. I want a long entrance on the front, so a large set of doors on the front, offset towards the left, another entrance on the left hand side, and then a window. So the position that this would be in the garden, you'd be looking at it from this angle. So not too much needs to be going on around this kind of area. So going to the first page, the doors that I want to use are the large set of sliding doors, which are the most popular set that we do, and you can see they're 3.6 meters, just over. I also want to use a single door, and I also want to use a long full length picture window. As I said, I want these to be offset, so visually there's a lot of glass to this left hand corner. Again, my big set of doors are 4 pane. My single door and my picture window. So again, just referencing the codes, the large set of doors is a PD4, the single door is a D07, and the full length windows are W1. So I'm going to say PD4, D07 and W1, and then I want this to have a top opening section on this window, not to be a fixed pane, so I'm going to say opening on there. Okay, that takes care of step 2. Step 3, draw any internal walls or overhang. So again, if I wanted to put an internal wall in here, I could do that. For example, show a door, but that's not what I want in this building. What I want to do on this building is take the roof overhang, just like we did on the last building, around the front, but also around this left hand side. And again, because we're looking at this building from this angle, all my interesting features I want to be around the front and left. So I'm going to draw just a dotted line around the front of the building. And then I also want some spotlights in there. So I'm just going to draw some simple circles to represent the spotlights. So what I'm going to do on here is put this as a 300mm overhang. What I want to do though is I also want to match this overhang with a step around the building, a decking step in a composite decking material. So I'm going to put 300mm overhang plus matching decking step. Okay. One thing that we also offer is what's called a squared end or an end wing. End wings tend to be sloped, and they look really good if you've got just a front overhang, and then you can slope the sides of the building up to meet that overhang. What I want to do on this building is kind of tie the decking step and the overhang together with what we call a squared end. So I'm just going to focus on this side of the building, and I'm just going to fill this part in here like this, and I'm going to put square end. Now this is very asymmetric, this building is, so the people who like symmetry, this might drive them a little bit mad, but this is how I want the building to be, because I think this is what's going to work right in that space. So that's step 3 done. Before we go to step 4 and photograph this and send it across to your cabin master rep, we need to choose the options on the right hand side. So I want this building to be in cedar, and I want it to have anthracite grey windows and doors. So the next step is to take the photograph of this or scan it and then send it along to your cabin master rep. So the details for your rep will be on the top of the sheet that you've downloaded from their email. So this is the sketch of the building. This is the set of 3D drawings that resulted from that sketch. You can see we've got the long set of doors here. We've got the single door, the picture window with a top opening section. You've got the overhang to the front and the left. You've got the decking step here. And then you've got this squared end. So you see how it ties the overhang and the decking step together. And then what we've done on the plan view from the top there is also added all the electrical points by liaising with the customer. All these dots here are your internal lighting, and then your external lighting. So this is the view of the building without the roof, basically. And then this is the actual building that resulted from these 3D drawings once this was approved. So you can see you've got all the elements just there. The only difference on the actual building is that instead of putting the spotlight right at the end on the overhang and here, we've actually used an up and down light just to give a bit of visual contrast to the lighting scheme for the outside of the building. But you can see how you've gone from a simple sketch like this with the simple layout to the 3D drawings to the physical building. In this third example, we're going to draw a cathedral building. So this is a building made with our maintenance-free cladding on the outside. This is a little bit more of an unusual shape. It's a narrower and longer building than we've done in the other two examples. So, using my grid lines as a guide, I want to draw the building out. And the building wants to be 6.3 meters long, and it wants to be 2.6 meters deep. So the customer whose building this is, that I'm basing this drawing on, had some limited space, had an existing shed that he wanted to replace, and this basically took up the space of the shed and projected a bit further past it. But we didn't want to encroach into his garden anymore. So this just demonstrates how we can make the building however you want it to be, really to suit your garden. So step one, we've drawn the outline of the building and we've shown the dimensions. That's critical. Step two, what style of windows and doors do we want and where do we want them to be placed? Now, the gentleman who had this building wanted to have the ability to put some desks up against the wall, so the windows wouldn't be in the way, and he also wanted some ventilation around the back and sides, and the entrance for this building actually wanted to be on the end. So, referring back to my windows and doors, for the entrance we're going to use a small set of French doors, 1.2 meters wide. The code for that is FD. For ventilation on the back and the sides, we're going to use a couple of these letterbox windows, and then for the desk height windows on the front, we're going to use 3 of these W6 windows of this size. Now on this type of window, all these desk height windows, we do a lot of configurations on them. You get split panel ones with fixed panes and opening panes, ones with top opening sections. So again, these windows and doors that are demonstrated on here are just a sample, are just the basics to give you the size and the dimensions of that type of window. How those windows actually open or close can all be customized. So I know I want my entrance on the end. And that's going to be my French door. So the code for that is FD. My letterbox windows, I want them to be on the back and the end. Again, for ventilation more than anything else. The code for these is W3. And these need to open as well. So opening on them. And then for the front windows, we want 3 of the W6 size windows. and then we can get into specifics of exactly what type of window you want on there, how it might open. So that's step 2 completed. Step 3, draw any additional features. So we want an overhang on this building. We just want the overhang to be at the front, or the door end, sorry. Actually, I think we perhaps take the overhang around one side as well, if I remember correctly. So this is a 300mm overhang. And very often we put spotlights around these. I just want the spotlights to be above the door. And then what I actually want to do in between these three W6 windows at the front, I actually want to use the up and down lights that we do. You can draw these however you want. I just draw them as a square. And all I'm going to say is up, down. Okay. Again, you can see how messy this drawing is, really. But it's all we need. It's all we need to give us an idea of what you want. The next thing is to choose the cladding option from the right hand side. That would be the caesal. And again, for this building, anthracite, windows and doors. Now we can send a sheet across that's got the caesal samples on it, the different colours available, as well as the redwood and the cedar. So you can really kind of pick and choose which you want. So that completes that drawing. The next step would be to go to step 4, photograph it, scan it, send it to your cabin master rep, whose details you'll find at the top of the page. So from this sketch, this is the set of 3D drawings that we produced. You can see the French doors on the end, the letterbox windows, and then 3 desk height windows just there from the plan view. So on these desk height windows you can see there's a couple of different configurations that we've used. So the size is the same as the W6 that we've specified. You'll notice the code's different. The code describes the doors, but we don't have the windows. Sorry, we don't have to get into that yet. So on this first one here, we've got a fixed pane, a top opening section, and a side opener. On this second window, you've got 2 side openers that open the opposite way, and on this third one, that mirrors the first one. So a side opener, a top opener, and a fixed pane. And once we've got the initial set of drawings, we can then iterate on those drawings until we get to a point where we're happy with the design and we want to go for it. Any questions? Contact your cabin master rep.